Welcome to Channel. Trump is in full damage control mode as his disastrous tariff war with Canada collapses, and Prime Minister Mark Carney just exposed how weak his hand truly is. After months of crippling tariffs that have spectacularly backfired, Trump has switched from bluster to begging, rolling out a desperate charm offensive to coax Canada back to the negotiating table. Behind the scenes, the truth is even worse. For months, Trump has been waging an economic war against America's closest ally and largest trading partner, slapping Canada with punishing tariffs. 35% on most goods, 50% on steel and aluminum, and 25% on automobiles. These weren't standard trade measures. They were political weapons meant to strong-arm Canada into accepting Trump's terms. But instead of breaking Canada, the move has blown up in his face. The fallout has been brutal. Canada's unemployment rate has surged to 7.1%, the highest in 9 years, while steel and aluminum exports have cratered. Thousands of manufacturing jobs have vanished, and the pain doesn't stop at the border. American companies that rely on Canadian materials are seeing skyrocketing costs, forcing price hikes that are squeezing U.S. consumers. Trump's tariff gamble is collapsing so badly that he's now scrambling for an exit. When Carney arrived at the White House for his second visit in just 5 months, the contrast was striking. This was supposed to be Trump's victory lap, proof that his hardball tactics were working. Instead, it looked like a president cornered by his own failed strategy, trying to smile his way out of self-inflicted economic crisis, ChatGPT said. Trump showered Carney with praise, calling him a world-class leader and a tough negotiator. He spoke glowingly about the mutual love between the two countries, and even promised that Canada would walk away very happy from their meeting. But behind the smiles and handshakes lies a very different story, one Trump doesn't want anyone to see. Here's the truth. Canada is the only G7 nation that hasn't signed a trade deal with Trump's administration this year. While the European Union locked in tariff rates of 15% and the United Kingdom secured 10%, Canada has refused to budge, and there's a good reason why. Mark Carney knows Canada holds a stronger hand. Let's break down the numbers. Every single day, roughly $2.5 billion worth of goods and services cross the U.S.-Canada border. Canada is a top export market for 36 U.S. states, meaning millions of American jobs depend on smooth trade with their northern neighbor. The U.S. also imports 60% of its crude oil and 85% of its electricity imports from Canada. Not to mention the fact that Canada supplies a majority of America's steel, aluminum, uranium, and 34 critical minerals and metals essential for national security. So while Trump tried to frame the discussion as a natural conflict between two industrial powers, both competing for car manufacturing, steel, and energy dominance, the reality is clear. Canada holds the leverage, and Carney knows it. Up until now, it's been a complicated process, maybe the most complicated trade negotiation we've ever had, Trump admitted. Because, we have what I call a natural conflict, but we also have mutual love. We truly love each other. I love Canada, and I love the people of Canada. And Mark feels the same way about the U.S. Trump went on to describe the challenges at the heart of the dispute. The problem is, they want a car company and I want a car company. They want steel and we want steel. With other countries, they're far away. Competition doesn't hurt as much. But when we compete with Canada, we end up hurting each other. It's a natural business conflict. Nothing wrong with it. Still, I think we made a lot of progress in recent months. He then shifted blame to past administrations, saying, for years, the United States gave everything away in trade with Canada. We let car companies move there, and that hurt American workers. Other presidents didn't see it. They weren't business-minded. Some were good politicians. Others weren't good at either. As reporters pressed him on whether he was ready to offer any concessions after Canada's compromises this summer, Trump hesitated, signaling that, despite his praise for Carney, he's not ready to give up his leverage just yet. Trump tried to present his meeting with Carney as a moment of compromise, admitting that when two neighbors as closely tied compete for the same industries, they end up hurting each other. But the truth runs much deeper. After more than 60 years of economic integration, the North American economy is so interconnected that trying to separate it now is like trying to unscramble an egg. Every time Trump targets Canadian steel, He drives up costs for American manufacturers. When he slaps tariffs on Canadian energy, American consumers pay more at the pump. His so-called trade war isn't making America great again. It's just making everything more expensive. Carney arrived in Washington knowing he held a stronger hand. Under the USMCA trade agreement, the very deal Trump once touted as his crowning trade achievement, more than 85% of U.S.-Canada trade remains tariff-free. The average U.S. tariff on Canadian goods sits at just 5.6%, the lowest of any major American trading partner. In other words, Trump's trade war has been little more than political theater, bluster designed to look tough while achieving almost nothing. But Carney didn't come to defend the status quo. He came with a strategy, one that exposed just how weak Trump's position has become. During their meeting, Trump openly acknowledged the natural conflict between the two countries and called the relationship